It's about that time of day again. My name is Joseph. It's Monday evening, June the 5th. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. We have crude oil, S&P, gold, euro, and FDAX tonight. Crude is bearish and trying to retest Friday's low, but a key support trend line combined with the battle zone overhead are giving us plenty of information to find some reliable opportunities on Tuesday. S&P is bullish and trading at the low of a range this evening, so buyers are naturally looking for seller failures to retest the high, while the sellers might just get a beautiful opportunity for a big reversal tomorrow. Got a great chart tonight on the S&P. And of course, the gold, the yellow metal, is bullish at the low of a trading range and trying to retest today's high, so looking for buying opportunities using the two-try rule as well as a possible failure and collapse back down tomorrow. The euro's bearish in a flag pattern this evening, telling us to sell the high of the channel or look for traps after the breakdown. We're getting an eye on Friday's low on the euro. And of course, the FDAX, big bull move in today's session. DAX is bullish and trying to retest today's high, but a prior month level combined with multiple clues are telling us to look for traps and failures to buy the dip again on Tuesday. Well, we survived the first week of the month, or the first couple days of the month. We survived non-farm Friday. We'll be paying close attention to Friday's highs and Friday's lows in tonight's video. Remember, today was Reaction Monday, the Monday following non-farm payroll Friday, and today was the day where we either make or break, either continue or fail on the trend that was started last Friday. I got a great newsletter in store for you guys and gals tonight. Plenty of reliable opportunities setting up for Tuesday's session. Before we jump into our charts, though, I do want to remind you the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is on our blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, not to worry. There's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Dig into that video description, grab that link, and come join me here on the blog at Sideways Markets and watch the full-length version here on the blog. Don't forget, while you're here, join that mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when our nightly newsletter goes live. Upper left-hand corner, give me your name and email address, and I'll send you an email every evening when we're ready for the newsletter. Follow me on social, lower left-hand corner. Many different ways to follow me on social media. I'm always posting important charts, links, and updates on my stock twits, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn accounts. Don't forget to grab those charts right below tonight's video. How easy is that? All the charts in tonight's video. That's right. Follow that link and you'll have them on your computer for tomorrow's session. Please don't forget to grab your free pass in the upper right-hand corner. Don't forget, grab that free pass. You'll learn more with me in 90 minutes on that free pass than you will anywhere else on the interwebs. I can pretty much guarantee you that. We got a great frequently asked questions section on our blog for all the newbies out there, right? And don't forget, I'm always available here. Use the live support tool on the right-hand side of the homepage and hit me up if you guys have any questions. We survived non-farm Friday. Another big day tomorrow, though. We're only as good as our next trade, though. Let's get ready for tomorrow, Tuesday, June the 6th. We get a relatively wide open day tomorrow, especially, of course, in the U.S. session. We got some minor news from the RBA, right, at just after midnight Eastern time tonight. We get the retail sales in the ECB tomorrow, 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Not a big market moving event. I would imagine in Europe, most folks are focused on the UK election coming up later this week. And of course, we have the JOLTS report here at 10 a.m. That's about it, really. The only major news tomorrow on the schedule is really that JOLTS report at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Other than that, though, it's pretty much going to be a continuation of what started today, and that was the reaction to last Friday's non-farm payroll number. Last Friday, we saw big jumps in gold, saw big jumps in euro, but now we're starting to see these things fade off those highs, and we're watching for either continuation tomorrow, back to retest the highs, or expecting to see a collapse back down to retest Friday's low. Let's not talk about it. Let's dig it right in. Let's jump right in. Grab some charts here. We'll go crude, S&P, gold, euro, and of course, we can't forget to wrap it up tonight with the old FDAX. Crude is bearish at the top of a trading range and trying to retest today's low, but this trend line may spoil the fun for the sellers and give those buyers an opportunity to grab control and make a run back to retest today's high. The first thing that stands out in this chart is that the bears had a great opportunity to sell high earlier today, and they got their target back to the low. But the buyers never really took firm control, and we haven't seen that pop higher yet, which would tell us the sellers had given up on it, right? That basically tells us the buyers don't have firm control of this market, and sellers are likely waiting to sell up around that battle zone for a better price to sell more tomorrow. What a move today on crude oil. Fantastic session in the trade room this morning with all of our advanced members. Don't forget, we do execute this strategy every day, 8 o'clock Eastern time in our trade room. You don't need to do this alone out there, guys. It's very easy to get overwhelmed as a new trader. It's great to have somebody in your world that will plan the trades and trade the plan right along with you guys every day. So come out and join me as a client, and we'll do it together tomorrow. Strong move down, right? We were focused on the sell side pretty much the entire day today on crude oil. Really, a couple things really stand out. First of all, multi-tiered bear channel, right? Multi-tiered bear channel with a grind break. Now, if you're not a client of mine, this won't make much sense to you, but if you are a client of mine, you know that tells us right now that we're definitely looking at an area where sellers should be coming in here to defend that high. That grind break gives us a very specific location overhead that will act as resistance. The second thing that comes to mind here is that as we pummeled lower here, just above the double down, the sellers got a great opportunity here to sell high, and they retested that low. Now, that's not really a groundbreaking discovery. In a bear market, the bears will get sick and tired of selling low. They'll wait for the price to pull back, and they'll sell it back down again. Their target is to go back down and retest the low. Once we get the target, then we wait and see. Do we reverse? Do we push through? The key is the reversal. And this, I think, is the most important clue we're seeing right now. I get this question a lot on Facebook and on YouTube, and that is, how do we know when a market is just pulling back or if it's a full-blown reversal? This happens quite a bit regarding flag patterns. The key is how it reacts around the moving average. Notice how the market dropped lower here in the early part of the session. Notice how much distance there was between the candlesticks and the moving average. Notice here, as soon as the market gets back above the moving average, it's immediately sold right back down. Now, look at the price go back above the moving average here. Would you say that market looks stronger than we looked going down? Think about it. The market moving lower shows a lot of strength going lower. That gives the bears control of this market. The big clue is what's not happening right now. When a market goes this strong down and then reverses, it'll chop, and then pop, right? It'll explode higher. We're going to see an example of that a little bit later on this nightly newsletter as we look at the euro and gold. With that said, we aren't seeing that explosion higher. We're not seeing the pop. And the pop really is nothing more than sellers getting out of the way and buyers taking control. That lack of the pop is what tells me the bears still have control. Now, with that said, this could change very quickly because you can notice here this rising support trend that I have drawn here. This rising support is likely going to be a bit of a pain in the rear end for those bears unless they can do two things. Get up high enough into the battle zone so they're not worried about selling into that support, or get below the support and use it as resistance. These are, of course, two scenarios we're watching here for the bears. Now, with that said, when the market does, if the market does jump up here to allow those bears to get a good grip on selling high, this is where that jump up may turn into that pop, right? And that may give us the turn in direction that the buyers would hope for right now. So this trend line here is a real important piece of the puzzle. The sellers aren't going to want to sell into it. They're going to want to go up, failure, and back down, or get down, back up, and then use it as resistance, right? So those are two scenarios that sellers looking for right now. Sell high or wait for the price to go lower and then back up to sell high at that area of resistance, right? That'll be a resistance level at that point. What would this look like if it turned bullish? What would a bull market look like here tomorrow? Well, first of all, it would look pretty strong, right? We'd see the sellers basically walk away from this and just jump. Now, if it jumps, we get some real strong, right? We get some strength go to the upside. You don't want to be buying that strength, right? But the strength gives you the information you need to know we're now bullish. My favorite way to trade a reversal is that once I see the market reverse and I know we have the new direction, I like to look for a two-legged pullback for a trap low. That will usually be the most reliable trade you're going to get. But remember, right, you don't just want to buy a two-legged pullback in a bear market, right? You want to wait for it to turn, right, for it to turn bullish. You can almost see a little bit of a short-term example of that right here, right? Up, down, right, pulls back. Again, not bullish yet, so I'm not going to take those types of trades. So again, recap here right now. The sellers have control right now. They're trying to get back down to retest that low. How do they get there? They don't want to sell into this trend line. So they go up, failure, and back down, buyer, failure, back down, or down, trap. And this may be a two-legged correction too, maybe a two-legged move, right? Trap high, back up to sell off that trend line. The objective is down to retest that low though. That's why the no trade zone is there. Got to be careful. Double bottom is down here. Non-farm Friday low is down here. And that ultimately is what we assume those sellers are really hunting for. They're trying to go back to where we came from on Friday. We're going to see a lot of this in tonight's newsletter. Remember this from last Friday? This is a big bear flag. They got a little bit out of control here. Well, they began the day today with a strong move higher, and it appears all that was a great spot for the sellers to load up and try to go back to retest the low. So all eyes are on that low at 74 here tomorrow. The hard part's going to be we've got too much support there at just below 47 to want to sell low into it. So really, if you're a bear right now, you want to go up, failure, back down to avoid selling into that support, down, back up. Use that support as resistance. Or if we do happen to just crash lower here, this is crude we're talking about, right? Now we want to make sure whenever we have a situation where the only option is to sell low, and of course, you have to know how to read a chart to know if we're relatively low or not, right? But if we go back to retest that low, we're now relatively low. Whenever you get to that position, you want to be thinking traps, right? Traps. So if price tumbles lower, just a little trap high here. Look for little traps, right? And try to sell above those highs, right? Trap high. Whenever we find ourselves, right, in that situation where we're a little bit too low for comfort, it's trap high on the way down to retest Friday's low. Don't forget, bulls, you guys have plenty of opportunity here tomorrow. There's literally nothing here overhead, but you guys have to show us some proof, strong move up. And then remember, don't chase that move. Two-legged pullback will usually be the most reliable. And of course, we have a possible reversal line here, rising support trend line here, right? That'll make for great, right, buying opportunities if we get the pop. If we do get it, the buyers are hunting for a retest of that 48, 42. You may want to watch closely though on those. Now that I look a little bit closer at it, that's Friday's high, right? So Friday's high being at 48.07. Right, that would be the easier objective. And then, of course, from there, again, if we run up, don't forget, if we do make ourselves up around those highs, don't chase after it. Right, trap low, just like trap high, right, if we go lower. Guys and gals, looking forward to trading this strategy with you guys tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Remember, don't chase after that move down to that non-farm Friday low, up to that high. Let's keep moving. How about some S&P? S&P and the gold are quite similar here tonight. You'll see quite a bit of similarities to them. And by the way, kids, we don't usually see the equities and the gold market go in the same direction, right? Give that a quick think, right? What does that tell you here? Something is up out there, right? Think about it, right? A shelter market like gold, right? Negative correlation to the U.S. dollar, going in tandem with, right, the S&P here right now. You can tell that Friday non-farm number clearly confused a lot more than just a few people on Friday into Monday. Bottom line is, read the chart, Joe. Don't overthink this stuff, right? Whenever I try to overthink this stuff is when we start taking losses. Most important thing right now is what's happening right now. We're bullish, and we're trading at the low of a bull range this evening, which tells us to look for buying opportunities using the two-try rule for a target going back up to retest the high. Now, one thing that stands out in this chart is this falling resistance trend line, which may keep these buyers from committing at this price at the lows, giving the sellers a great opportunity to grab control and take a target back down at Friday's low. The very first thing that stands out to me right now is the fact that this is Friday's session, and if you're wondering why am I choosing to use 2 days of information, It's because we officially had zero volume today on the S&P. I think crude oil had it didn't, but it was surprisingly low volume. I was going to say it was almost if crude oil had more volume than the S&P today, which is a bad thing for the S&P, right? The S&P should have a few million contracts being traded. I want to say today was less than 1 million contracts. You're never alone out there in your journey to being a professional trader. I got you covered. Our beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels of membership. We'll build the trading business in the beginner course. We'll learn the foundation, the fundamentals in the intermediate course, and we'll wrap it all together with our strategy, our trading plan, and we'll execute the plan together every day in our trade room. Please don't forget, if you want to learn more about what it means to be a client, you can learn more about our beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes on the website here at School of Trade. And please don't forget, we got one of the best free trials in the business. Join that free trial right on the homepage. Grab that free trial to learn more about how we trade here at School of Trade. I'll send you an invite to join our trade room as a guest for a couple days this week. And guys and gals, don't forget, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time with all of our advanced members. Tomorrow evening, we'll do it again with our nightly newsletter. You guys be well out there. Be nice with her, will ya? And be here tomorrow. Adios, amigos.